Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to our AutoCAD tutorial. On today's video, we will be dealing with the draw command. So this is essentially this first part of the ribbon. We'll go through our line, our polyline, our circle, arcs, polygon or rectangles, and then our hatch commands. My wish is that at the end of the video, you would have built the confidence to master the draw commands. Starting right off with the line command. This is, as it says, meant to assist you draw lines. The hope is that you draw straight lines, but of course without the snap commands or your cursor restriction settings, it might be a bit hard. So remember that green line that shows your polar tracking, it's meant to show you that you're working in a straight line. So whenever you see that green line preceding your original work, please do not panic. It means you are on the right track. To exit a command, you can you can select escape or enter on your keyboard, and then it stops your line command, right? Then we're gonna use the Polyline command. The Polyline command acts almost identically to how your line command would behave. The only difference is that with a Polyline command, everything you've drawn, once you exit the command, everything you've drawn is essentially one big object. Everything becomes a family, as opposed to your line command is every man for himself. Every line acts individually. If you want to delete a single line, you can. If you want to delete everything at once, you would have to select everything using a range of selection methods. So if it happens that you are doing your floor plans or drawing your floor plans or trying to draw an object, either your manholes, once we get to the hydraulics chapter, just make sure you don't use the polyline command, because once you've selected the polyline command, it essentially says you cannot delete that work, because if you want to delete, you have to delete everything. But if you realize only after you're done that you actually used the wrong command, you can easily turn it from a polyline, which is this, to your line, which is the individual lines, using the explode command. It's this box thingy that looks like it's exploding. So you can just click on the command, select the object, enter, select the object, enter, then it would essentially turn them into individual lines. So that's how you'd go about turning it from a polyline to a normal line. The next up, we are going to explore the circle command. By default, it selects the center to radius, but you can use either the radius or the diameter. There's about 4 more options, but we won't be looking at those. So if you click on the arrow right below, you have the center to radius or the center to diameter. Those are the easiest ones to use. Center to radius, you can click on it. First, you look on your command box. It will tell you to specify the center point for your circle. Then you specify a point anywhere in South Africa. Then it's going to ask you to specify a radius. Then we can specify a radius of 1,000. Enter. Then it draws a perfect circle on there for you. If maybe you have the diameter and you don't want to be calculating, finding half of it, which is really easy, but if you don't want to do it, specify the center. Then let's say it has a diameter of 1,000 as well, which means it will essentially be half of the one we have on screen, because remember your radius is half of your, I'm babbling, yes. So if you want a perfect circle and you have either the radius or the diameter, then you can use any of those. Then next we have our arc command, and essentially that helps you with any half circles you may want to draw, depending on the information you have. If you have a radius, then you can click on the drop down and find an option that is suitable for you there. I just did a demo one to show you how you would go about it. Then next up we have our rectangle command. Click on it, specify the first point, stretch it out, or specify on there that you want it to be 1,000 in length, and obviously it will follow your prompts. If you want it to be 15,000 in length, then it follows your prompt. Okay, this essentially helps you to carry out your rectangle. If you prefer to use your line command to draw your rectangle, you can also do that. Remember, there isn't just one way of doing things. There's many ways to kill a cat. You can choose how you want to go about it. But the only problem with using manual lines to construct your rectangle, these two rectangles, once you've zoomed out, they look exactly the same. They look identical, except when you want to hatch, you can only hatch one that is essentially closed. The one that has a bit of an opening will give you an error when you try to hatch, and it will say that a closed boundary cannot be determined. It has found some gaps. So this is the interactive part of AutoCAD. Whatever you wanted to do, it'll most likely do it unless there's a problem with your work. And it'll go this extra mile of showing you where the actual problem is. All right, then obviously you would need to rectify that in order to make it a closed boundary. You'd either use your trim command, your chamfer command, or you would decide to draw a rectangle the easier way. Then the last part we're going to explore under the drawing command would be the hatch, which we've just gone through. But just to touch on it a little bit, once you click on it, it has a ribbon of its own. It's like it has a whole new world of its own. Then on here, you have different patterns that you can use depending on the material that is being cut. Remember, even in drawing 1 or EGD 1, you had sectioning where you would cut it in a specific direction and show essentially the material that's been cut or the parts that have been cut. We use ANSI 32 for your walls, then you use concrete for concrete or your foundations, then you would use the earthworks one to show the soil below ground. This will normally be used once you start with your buildings chapter. Once you do your floor plans and then you do your sectional view of that floor plan, that's essentially where you'll be utilizing it. One last thing to touch on, if you prefer not to use the ribbon up here, you do not want to look for a command and you want to speed up your work, you can easily use the command box on here. So you can type in line, enter, then it starts up the line command for you. All right. If you want circle, just type in circle, enter, then it asks you to specify the radius and keep it moving. Okay, if you want a rectangle, oops, enter, then you're also able to carry it through. You can either go directly to the command box, type on it, and then enter. Obviously, that's not an actual command, or anywhere where your mouse cursor is. Anywhere where you are, you don't necessarily have to go to the command box straight. You can just type in wherever you are, then it will start that command. That is what we call your dynamic input. Essentially, it's just typing anywhere you are, and then it helps you carry your work through. Okay, I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, any comments, feel free to use the comment section or you can email me. And if you need more assistance, you can also get hold of me. I'm more than happy to assist. This was the first part where we're dealing with the draw commands. On the next one, we'll be dealing with the modify command. Do tune in for that. Now, see you then. Bye.